I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. It's been a pretty good day. I have just finished the final version of the trading model video. So I have a few little tweaks I want to add to it, and it's going to be all ready for Monday. So I think that's something you guys should be looking forward to if you have yet to find your own trading system. You will see. There's a lot of stuff to come, and I'm actually picking up data all the way from now to Monday so that I can provide the Discord with some more value than anyone who can open YouTube. I'm gonna bring you guys with some extra data, extra details, extra insight into the model. Super excited. Sorry, I keep talking about it at the start of every call, but I am super excited to be moving forward. But enough of that, we can get straight into it. As I said, I'm going to start looking at and studying, right, publicly and providing my study for the day on days where I do not trade. For example, I have not traded yet this week on all my main accounts. I have touched the markets on my sorry, I'm messing with this indicator, can't do two things at once. On my swing trading account, I actually was long since last week, so I was just holding that for now. But just looking at what happened this week, pretty clear, right? We opened the week right here. Let me just add a vertical incentive. So I'm just gonna use Monday midnight open. Just mark that out. I've been doing a lot of examples for trades, so I have a lot of sessions that I don't want there. There we go. So, what have we been doing this week? Well, we expanded higher and then consolidating with a little displacement lower. But what did we do after that displacement lower? Well, we traded again higher, but there is currently SMT being present. So I'm going to go on my intraweek time frame, which is my hourly chart, and we're going to see that there is no SMT for this specific time frame up until this specific level right here. Let me just mark it out correctly. And this is the swing high. So we do have SMT, and I've talked at length about SMT. That I actually have a video on the channel where Cho was asking me what was SMT, and we ended up going through all the SMT and what it means. And what do we see right now? Well, we see SMT, we see ES failing to make a higher high, which tells me we're bearish. But there's a lot of resting liquidity above this, right? We do have relative equal highs right here, which are a huge point for liquidity. We can't deny it, right? As much as I don't want price to go there, because I'm looking for lower prices being online with DXY, by the way, going higher, which to me, that's what it looks like. If I go down to a daily chart, see how we invalidated this inefficiency, I'd like to see us retest this and move higher. But if DXY is going up, it is not high probability to be looking for indices to go up. So I'm not going to be looking for longs unless it's a scalp, right? We're doing a midweek analysis. What do I see? Well, I see we have support from the lows, right? If we look at NASDAQ right here, this order block seems to be creating support. And actually, I'm going to get off of a hourly chart and go to a 4-hour chart. Sorry. I wanted to point out this right here. So we left this inefficiency open. And if we look at the premium and discount of our current range that we are trading into, right, our higher time frame range, let me just mark this out as what it is. And I can't see it because it's a daily fair value gap. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. I'm constantly messing around with my templates, so they're not always video ready. Let's just say it like that. So I'm looking at this fair value gap right here. This is our weekly candle right here. We have the power of three. As you can see, we opened on Sunday right here. This is midnight open on Monday. What have we done? Well, we opened, created a low, and then expanded higher. That specific low had no SMT. We just traded back into an order block and then expanded. But now we traded back into our range, retracing right to a discount of the range. We went all the way down to a discount, into a discount inefficiency. This is not what I am trying to move. Sorry about that. Into our discount inefficiency, discount fair value gap right here. but we have not dug into this fair value gap. And if we compare it to ES, draw out the same range, we have not traded back into this fair value gap. If this remains open, it will act as a breakaway gap, which means it is like rocket fuel for price. It's going to expand aggressively higher. Basically, what I'm saying is this inefficiency does not need to be filled. It is already balanced. We have seen price deliver through it on the left, right? It was just rebalancing this inefficiency. I'm not going to get into active price rebalance and redelivery theory, but all that to say is this does not need to be retraded to, because we have retraded into a discount inefficiency and are now expanded higher. So what is the move I'm looking for? Well, it's quite different than what I was looking for my weekly outlook. Right now, I'm looking for higher prices. But this SMT being present, this 4 hour, right, just higher time frame SMT, we initially looked at it from a 1 hour standpoint, just because there's more information. It's a little clearer to see, in my opinion. But if we look right here, you'll see we have SMT on those highs, which means what? Well, we don't need to retrade above that, right? So what do we have? All of a sudden, I went the long way to explain this for this specific reason. We have two ideas, two things, two concepts, whatever you want to say it, right? The markets are giving us two different stories. So the SMT above tells me, okay, I'm done going up. We're accumulating orders there. We do not need to go up. But then the fact that we did not trade back into this fair value gap tells me we're going to expand higher aggressively, which means I would expect it to head for external range liquidity. So how do you filter through both these ideas, right? Because who am I to know which one is the better one, right? There are two things that could happen. Which one is more probable? Well, that's where you would use time. And what elements of time do we have? Well, tomorrow we have news. And I'm not saying use fundamentals, because I do use fundamentals for long-term investments. I do not use it at all for day trading. And that's up to you, right? I'm not flaming anyone who does. A lot of people use them successfully, and congrats to them. It's just not for me. But what am I seeing here is I want to see our news tomorrow, right? Which is, I believe we have 10 a.m. news at the latest. No, we have afternoon news and morning news. So I want to see the morning news, and I want to see the afternoon news generate the real move. So I want to see our morning news give us a manipulation. And I need SMT to be present, right? As always, I'm looking for the same things. So I would like to see a manipulation in either direction. Since there are two possible outcomes, exactly this thing that I was just saying, right? Who am I to judge which one is better? No one, right? The markets will tell me where they are going. So I am going to see the news tomorrow, and I'm going to adjust my trading to be able to take a quick scalp since the higher time frame direction is unclear. I do, looking at our daily chart at the moment, it is pretty clear we're looking for higher prices. But being so deep in a premium of our range, right? When I'm looking at this inefficiency and see how we rejected today, right? We rejected this low. That is pretty clean to say, hey, we retested this inverted fair value gap. We're going to move forward. We have clear higher time frame objectives. So yes, the long idea is a little better. I would like to see it dig way further than this point, right? I was looking for lower prices. I was still targeting these lows, but now seeing this, I think that we're going to go there first. But to stop getting off the point, we are so deep in a premium right now of our current expansion that any type of long taking at this point will be low probability. Well, not necessarily low probability, but lower probability than if I'd be trying to catch a long right here, right? In the discount of my range. So what am I going to do? Well, pretty simple. I'm going to wait and I'm going to take it easy. What is taking it easy for me? It's my low risk protocol. Low risk protocol is all about getting money in and out of the markets very quickly. So I'm going to be scalping, but I'm trading the same trade I would usually. So I'm going to be trading my move, but I'm going to have lower expectations and I'm going to get out way quicker. And I like to leave runners. So for example, if I'm placing a 5 contract position and that is my full trading risk and that's my full position size. Well, I'm going to have 4 contracts out very quickly. Maybe it's going to be 1 and then 3 at another level. Maybe it's going to be 2, 2, right? That depends on the specific setup. But I'm going to have all of my position but 1 contracts, maybe 2 if I manage to get like 15 contracts in there. I'm going to leave a 2 contract runner and I'm going to let it see if it wants to expand. Because what do I expect tomorrow? Well, I expect a ranging day. I don't expect much. I expect that we'll be trapped between this fair value gap and trying to retrace deeper while still having all of this low resistance liquidity above. So I think we're stuck between 2 things. We're stuck between the amount of liquidity, a lot of buy side liquidity here, this inefficient price delivery we left below, so it's not strong enough to bring us to this point because this is too inefficient, too imbalanced, and the fact that we don't want to retrace into here because of how bullish we are. A lot of information there and not much explaining. I do understand that, but I don't want to be talking about very advanced concepts that I have not yet heard anyone speak about. So there is no testing linked to them. But for me, I'll be looking for my Judas swing tomorrow to tell me where we're going, specifically related to news. So of course, yes, we're going to wait for London, but best case scenario would be a long. So it would be a long off of this daily fair value gap, daily inverted fair value gap right here. Best case scenario would be seeing the next 2 days be a low resistance liquidity run up here. But if we check quickly and we look at Monday's candle right here, we don't have much of a weekly range for the moment. And seeing as we expanded at the end of last week, a retracement would be lower resistance very probably. It all depends. If the liquidity above here has to be targeted first, then that's where we go. Or if we need a retracement first. And what will tell me that, again, my news tomorrow. More specifically, what am I going to be looking for? Well, if I'm looking for long, I'm going to be looking for, let me just make some room right here. So I'm going to be looking for a Judas swing lower, very simply, followed by a confirmation of structure, which is what? Invalidating some bearish arrays, and then forming what? Well, forming my market structure shift, right? Right here. I would have a market structure shift, and I don't think I have something for that. So I'm going to be looking for a market structure shift to form after news Judas swing. And what liquidity am I going to be looking for? Well, a London framework would be beautiful. Very much so. That's what I'm looking for. So we would like to see London consolidate or expand lower with London highs, for example, 2 to 5 a.m. range. When I'm talking about London, by the way, stay open, see us expand lower. Within this fair value gap would be the best. Probably more specifically at the high of this order block right here, which is actually a propulsion block. I'd like to see this respected. So the levels I'm going to be looking at for tomorrow are going to be mean threshold. Oh, well, actually, I'll leave it like that. Will be mean threshold. So consequent encroachment of the order block, halfway of the order block, 50% level, however you want to name it, right? I would like to see us retrace first and then possibly continue higher, but I'm probably not going to be looking for shorts unless I have a Judas swing higher. So tomorrow will be very much so only with the news, and that is the only way I will be able to look for a setup is if I have clear structure followed by my time signature, time algorithmic signature, which is what we have a news event. I want to see a Judas swing in one direction, repricing to an intraday inefficiency, which means my 15-minute chart, or taking out liquidity, which would need to be important liquidity, like one of my session liquidity, or more specifically, equal highs, equal lows. So I'm going to be looking for that specifically. And of course, SMT is always the confirmation. SMT, SMT, SMT. I don't think you guys hear me saying it enough, which I already say it enough, actually, thinking about it. So sorry, I keep repeating myself, but SMT, SMT, SMT. We're going to look for SMT to confirm our idea. If there is a Judas swing lower and there is no SMT on the lows, on any lows at this specific level, then to me that is a fake move, and I'm going to be waiting for it to go up to then have a better short. That's all I'm looking for. But again, what I don't like is the fact that we are stuck between this very low resistance liquidity, which this is a clear objective, and this specific inefficient zone. And again, it's not drawn specifically, it's just very ugly, for lack of a better word for it. Coming into tomorrow, as I said, I'm looking at this inefficiency followed by this inefficiency and this order block more specifically. I'd like to see us have a little run lower, and maybe tomorrow or even the day after could possibly bring us higher towards this external range of liquidity. But we'll have to see, because we don't have very high impact news. But just to say, tomorrow I am going to be looking for a morning setup. And I'm going to make sure I am out before lunch, since there is a PM high impact news event. How does that sound? I'm not seeing anyone type, so I'm guessing there are no questions. I'm open to questions. This is your time. If you have anything related to charts, I'll be glad to answer them. So when you're talking about the VI, you're looking at this volume imbalance, and you're thinking, oh, well, this is now rebalanced. This is not an inefficiency. A volume imbalance is not inefficient. Is it an imbalance in price delivery? A fair value gap is inefficient. It is unbalanced price delivery. This has no meaning into direct price delivery. This is an imbalance in price. It acts differently. I don't look at it right now and see, oh, well, inverted volume imbalance, and oh, we traded into it. No, a volume imbalance can be used multiple times. It is a magnet. So no, I will not be looking at those specific levels for tomorrow's trading. I have my own specific levels that I have shared the greater picture with you guys. And again, as I said, I don't want to go in depth in these. I want to try and keep them simple, which they are already not so simple, because I keep rambling on and I keep sharing new concepts and whatever. So I want to keep those very simple so I can show how easy it can truly be. And no, it's not easy to be a trader, but it can be simplified so that you don't need to use 120% brain power to get a single trade idea. I do go a little bit too in depth sometimes, not in these calls, but just in my own trading. But I'm trying to not transfer this and keep these simpler and more beginner friendly, which I hope some of you guys do appreciate. So no, all that to say, I'm not looking at this volume imbalance, because I'm combining it and looking at this as an inverted fair value gap. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this area to show support to go higher, SMT to form, a setup to form within this, and I'll be targeting this and the low resistance liquidity above. No worries, Jordan. Awesome to hear, Nak. Yeah, and as Nak just said, I wish you guys all great trading tomorrow. I'll be in the Discord, keeping touch. And don't forget, tomorrow we'll be also doing a full price action review, so we'll be able to see if my thoughts today were concise with what price was doing tomorrow. How does that sound? By the way, if you don't want to miss any events, top left of our Discord server, you can click on events and you'll see everything coming up for the next week. And I update them always on Sunday, where I post the new price action review events just for all you guys to see. All right, well, I'm glad that was clear, and I'll leave you guys to it. Have a great night and great trading tomorrow. We'll talk more in Discord.